When we were young, we read more often because we had to. It was the only way for us to get knowledge and to be enlightened. Read to your heart's delight and be enlightened. Let's just read. It's a podcast by Andy's Personal Development. Stay tuned for more reading and enlightenment. Hi, people. This is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, and we are live on Let's Just Read podcast platform. We welcome you. And for those of you who are going to be live with us and those who will be seeing this podcast as it is played later on all the social media platforms, we thank you for your continued commitment and support in making Let's Just Read a positive and impactful episode right here on Andy's Personal Development. Today, our episode is entitled Author Actions to Succeed in Publishing with Terry Whalin. And he is in the house. So let me just tell you about our guest as we wait for him to come on. He's an editor and author of more than 60 books and has written for more than 50 magazines. And several of his books have sold over 100,000 copies. Yes, indeed. He has been in the book publishing business for decades and has worked with hundreds of authors. Many of these authors have unrealistic expectations about what will happen when their book is published. Much of the publishing process, he says, is outside anything that an author can control. And therefore, he wrote 10 publishing myths to give authors realistic expectations and encouragement to take practical action steps to make their book a success. So that's a little bit about our guest. And now let's welcome him live on Let's Just Read. The gentleman.
There we are. Hello, Andy.
Hey, hello, Terry. It's nice to see you, and we appreciate you and you taking the time to be with us.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. I suspect that we're going to have some fun in giving this information that is so vital and necessary at this time. So I looked at the questionnaire and I like the first one. It says, you had a wake-up moment as an author. Can you define in your own words what that means and exactly what happened so that now you have mastered the process of publishing?
Well, I don't know that I've mastered anything, Andy. I'm still learning about this business every day, but
we all are.
Yeah, in 2007, I was a literary agent. I had a little literary agency in Arizona, and Mark Victor Hansen, the co-author on Chicken Soup for the Soul, had this event out in Los Angeles called Mega Book Marketing University. And he invited me to come and take pitches from authors while I was out there. But so I went and I sat there with 400 people listening to all the different speakers. And at that point in my life, Andy, I'd written about 50 books for traditional publishers. They were giving me advances. 2 of the books I wrote got 6-figure advances, actually. So publishers were getting my books out. There were pretty books in the bookstore, all that kind of thing. But my books weren't selling. And what happens is the publisher, when you get an advance, will send you a royalty statement a couple times a year, maybe once a year. And when I was getting mine, they were all in the negative category. I wasn't making any more money because my books weren't selling in the bookstore. And it was almost like during that event, as I listened to people, that I kind of woke up. I understood what my problem was. One of the speakers at that event was Jack Canfield, the other co-author on Chicken Soup for the Soul. And Jack has written this book called The Success Principles. And it's really about how to succeed with whatever it is that you're trying to do. The very first success principle says that I will take 100% responsibility for my own success. Well, none of us want to take 100% responsibility. We want somebody else to do it. We want our publisher, our publicist, the marketing person, somebody other than us to do what needs to be done. And I
Right.
realized how little I was doing myself to promote my
Mm-hmm.
own books. I mean, I had a terrywhalen.com website, but I wasn't doing anything else. I mean, and there was a lot that I could be doing. So there in 2007, I decided to change and do my part, whatever that is, to actually get my books out there into the market and tell people about them. So I started a blog. My blog has over 1,700 entries in it now. About a year ago, I found an article that said that I was one of the top 27 content producers out there, along with Seth Godin and Ryan Holiday and Jeff Goins, people like that were on this list. And they had my name on this list. And it's because I blog every week, just once a week is what I do
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
publishing, and people read that. And
Yeah.
so that's just one of the things that I started doing to make a difference and help get my book out there into the market so people would know about it.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Terry. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you opening up about your personal story and the people you met that made a difference in your life. So, as an editor, now that you've had the experience, and as you say rightfully, you are continuing to learn every day and get better at what you're currently doing, what is one of the biggest challenges that authors have with regards to expectations that their books are actually going to sell?
Yeah, one of the challenges they have is to just understand how much of the publishing process is outside of anything they can do anything about. But they have to do their part, whatever that is. And many authors have unrealistic expectations. They think that their book's going to make a lot of money. That's one of the big ones that people have. And there's a lot of things that go into that as to whether the book's actually going to sell, whether is it going to get inside the bookstores? Is it going to be on somewhere other than just Amazon? I mean, Amazon's a big customer of Morgan James, but they're only 24% of our overall business.
Okay.
So the way I look at it is, if you publish with Amazon, you're missing 76% of what we do for the book out there. I mean, we sell in brick and mortar bookstores, we sell at Target, all kinds of places we're selling books out there. So that's just a simple thing, but one of the one of the keys is having your book everywhere and getting the right distribution, so it's more than just on Amazon at the end of the day. As a matter of fact, we
Right.
try to teach our authors not to use that word Amazon. They don't
Okay.
understand that retailers don't like Amazon. They believe
Okay.
Amazon has destroyed their business over the years. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
having an Amazon bestseller doesn't help you, you know? I mean, now if it's a bestseller, that's good. And if you have five-star reviews, that's good. But it doesn't matter really that you have 100 Amazon reviews.
Wow. Yeah. 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 Wow. I get that. That's a bit of an eye opener, I suppose. Wow. Thank you for sharing, Terry. Thank you. We appreciate that. So, with regards to the basic advice that you would give a budding author or writer about the proper processes and steps that he or she should take, which is the one thing that you would tell them that they absolutely must do?
Well, there's a lot of different things, but the one of the basics that I have found is that they really need to write a book proposal, which is a business plan for their book. Even if
Yeah.
they self-publish, they still need that information in that book proposal, like who's their audience, who's their competition, what are they going to do to promote the book,
Yeah.
uh, just all why should they publish it more than anybody else. All those kind of details are in this book proposal. Now, I freely admit it's a lot of work to write a book proposal, but it's an important part of the process, whether you're writing fiction or a children's book or nonfiction or a faith book or whatever it is that you're doing. So, as a frustrated editor years ago, I wasn't getting the kind of submissions from authors that I really wanted. So, I wrote this book called Book Proposals That Sell 21 Secrets to Speed Your Success. And people have used that book to get a literary agent, get a $50,000 advance. All kinds of great things have happened from that book. It has over 150 five-star reviews out there, and people can actually get that book for free from me, the ebook, if they go to bookproposals.ws,
Hmm.
bookproposals.ws
That
for website,
WS.
and
Yeah.
you can get the ebook version of the book and learn what in the world goes in a book proposal at the end of the day.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, what prompted you to write 10 publishing myths?
Yeah, I wrote that book because I talk to authors all the time. At Morgan James, we receive over 5,000 submissions a year, and we only do about 180, 200 books a year. So there's a real sifting process to try to
Yeah.
figure out which
Yeah.
authors we publish and which ones
Yeah.
we don't.
Yeah.
And what I found is a lot of these authors don't give me what I need to make a decision, and um, they don't really know how to position themselves in the market for success. And so I wrote this book to try to help them see the practical things that they can actually do. For example, Andy, some people come to me and they say, my audience is over on Facebook. And so I've built my stuff on Facebook. And I'm like, well, that's great, but do you control Facebook? I mean, could you do something innocent and violate their terms and get kicked off of there tomorrow? What
Yeah.
would that do for all the work that you've done on Facebook?
Yeah.
So authors need to be thinking about that, and or it's LinkedIn or whatever it is, YouTube. In other words, build your material on something that you can control, your own blog, your own website, your own email list, something that you can actually take control of and do, and nobody can kick you off of that. I mean, it's that simple. Just people don't think about it. They say, oh, LinkedIn's got millions of people, I should build it over there. Well, you can build it over there as a part of what you do, but just don't make that your total thing that you're doing at the end of the day.
Yeah. Fantastic. Appreciate that. Thank you for sharing, Terry. So, in terms of the exact combination of the book, what is the MBA in each chapter of your book? And that is Myth Buster Action.
Yeah, that's the practical application that
Uh
every
huh.
author can do. Even if you self-publish, you can
Right.
do that myth buster action to take steps. Like for example, some people say, well, I'm only going to write a book. I mean, a book is all I want to write. Well, in the book publishing business, Andy, if you sell 5,000 copies of your book in the lifetime of the book, that's a really good number. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's fantastic that you've done that.
Mhm.
But there's another area that you should be also writing in as well. And I encourage people in the book to write for magazines, print
Mhm.
magazines,
Mhm.
because print magazines have a far greater circulation than 5,000 copies. You can
Right.
often get to 100,000 people, 200,000, 500,000 people in a magazine. And at the bottom of the magazine has your name and your little website address where you're going to send people. Well, that's far greater exposure doing that than writing a 50 to 100,000 word book. And and a magazine article is maybe 500 to 1,500 words. Now, when you write a magazine article, you learn a lot doing that. That's part of the reason I've written for so many magazines over the years, because you learn how to write for a specific audience. You learn how to have a good headline, how to have a beginning, middle, end, how to have a takeaway, a point for the reader, so that the reader walks away and goes, "Oh, that's why I read this." I mean, you've got to just put that kind of stuff together, and it's easier to practice that kind of stuff on a shorter piece than a book at the end of the day.
Yeah. 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 So Terry, is there an 11th myth? And if there is, what it is all about?
Yeah, there is an 11th myth. Alice Kreider, who was an acquisitions editor at David C. Cook, when she sent me back her endorsement for the book, she said, "Terry, you're missing the 11th myth." I'm like, "Okay, Alice, what's the 11th myth?" She says, "Well, the 11th myth should be that if I send my book to Oprah, she'll book me on her show."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a pretty good myth there, Alice." And so what I did, I wrote a chapter just exactly so, and we designed it so it looks just like the rest of the book on the
Hmm.
11th myth. And I give that away to people. So if you go to terrylinks.com forward
Hmm.
slash 11th myth, 11
Hmm.
th myth,
Yeah.
that'll take you to where you can get that for free.
Wow. Okay. Quite interesting. Quite interesting indeed. Are there any other publications on the horizon for you with regards to the process of publishing?
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff on the horizon. horizon. I'm working with authors all the time on their book contracts, and we're getting books out and all kinds of things. I actually finished another manuscript last Saturday, actually, that I'm doing for an old ministry. It started in 1939, called Back to the Bible.
Okay.
We're still working on the final title of this book, but it's 90 devotionals that I wrote about
Okay.
biblical characters and
Hmm.
how they made a change or a turning point in their life. So I just managed to get my manuscript together on Saturday and send that off to my editor. So that book's coming ahead. It's going to be in early next year. It's going to come out.
Yeah, something to look forward to. Indeed, indeed. All right. So, Terry, with regards to young budding authors, I know you spoke about having your own platform and not being too dependent on the social media platforms, the LinkedIn and the Facebook platforms, but how would you guide them to set up a blog that would create the right kind of branding and attract the right kind of audience, as well as a personalized website that would take the full responsibility of doing so much more with regards to the level of control that they can have over what goes out there and how people respond to it?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different tools to build your website. People that can help you to make a website, make a blog, all in one type of platform there. So I don't have a particular place to send
Okay.
people, but just just be wise about how you do it and how you put it together, and put it in a way that you have control over it. I mean, years ago, when I built my terrywhalin.com website, I hired a website designer, but I quickly learned that anytime I had to update that website, I had to go back to that designer and pay
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
designer to change some images and stuff. So
Hmm.
I I learned how to do it myself so that I
Ah,
could I could fix it if it
yeah.
needed to be fixed, and I didn't have to pay somebody. So just just think about practical things like that as you put it together. You can really do it out there. It's just a matter of deciding to do it and then consistently doing it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Wonderful. How would you encourage a young author to manage the level of passion that they have and don't exceed in their minds, maybe in terms of their imagination, the level of expectations that they have for success, because some people have really large goals and large dreams. But as you rightly said, Terry, there's a process that's involved. And unless they understand and apply the different steps of the process, they can really get lost or caught up in the term and not the reality of what the term represents. So, how
Yeah.
would you help them to control that level of passion and to sort of bring down, measure, or have an open door with regards to the level of success that they should anticipate?
Well, I think they should celebrate that passion for one thing, because their
Yeah,
passion is what's going to get them up every day and encourage them to move forward. But uh, knock on as many doors as you can, I guess is what I'd say.
yeah,
Um, you're just basically looking for the open doors, and I believe we live in an amazing time in history when uh, I heard Marcus Duhay, who just stepped back from being the chief executive officer at Penguin Random House, the biggest publisher in the world. He said that we live in the greatest time in human history since Gutenberg invented the printing press. And I believe that's true. I mean, there's amazing things that are happening around the world, but you as the author have to enter into that process. You have to connect with the right person. You have to pitch your stuff to them in a way that they go, "Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
want that stuff." And
yeah,
so, and if they don't react that way, then take a step back and figure out how to rework it so that they do have that. I mean, those of us that are in publishing, we can basically look at your submission in seconds, and figure out if it's going to be the right thing for us or not. So, but there's lots of people out there. So just find the right one for you. Maybe your connection's on LinkedIn. I mean, I'd love to connect with people. They can just search for my name and connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to help and encourage people out there. That's why I have my personal email address in my X profile out there, and because I want people to reach out to me and to help them in any way that I can.
yeah. Wonderful. So I'm just gonna share something with us, and you can give your
It's
feedback when it
time to
is
think
over.
out of the bowl. Are you tired of collecting rejection slips? Do you know about the catch-22 of publishing? Come on, this is your dream. Make it happen. You can thanks to the incredible insider information unlocked and laid out in easy, doable steps by publishing expert Terry Whalin in his new blockbuster book, Jumpstart Your Publishing Dreams. Terry takes you into the trenches of this competitive marketplace and walks you through the 3 elements you need to get published. First, you need the insider knowledge about how book editors, magazine editors, and literary agents work. You need guidance from someone who has been in your place and can tell you how to succeed. Terry Whalin is that mentor. He's done all the things he's telling you to do. Second, you need the writing skills to provide what they need to seriously consider your work. Terry Whalin takes you step by step through the process of creating writing that will get you noticed. Finally, you need to bring strong storytelling skills to your writing. In the pages of this dynamic book, Terry Whalin teaches you the techniques to tell good stories. If you are serious about your writing career, you need guidance from someone who has been in your place and can tell you how to succeed. You need Jumpstart Your Publishing Dreams.
For each chapter in the book, I give a few prodding questions that someone could take and say, okay, I'm going to answer these questions for myself in my own writing life and figure out how to move ahead in the publishing world and really accomplish the dreams that I have for my own writing life.
Terry wants you to succeed. One more day without Terry's book is another day your dreams don't come true. Jumpstart your publishing dreams today at jumpstartdreams.com.
Terry, that is so comprehensive. It does not miss out anything. It covers every aspect, I think, of what people need to really understand about the process. But what stands out to me is being able to tell a story. How critical is that to the success?
Well, it's very critical because stories are what we remember at the end of the day. We remember those stories, and a good story has to have a beginning, middle, and end, just like a magazine article. You've got to think about that and how you're going to put that together. Um, when I was a magazine editor, I worked for Billy Graham years ago at Decision Magazine. Um, Back when the office was in Minneapolis, we were doing 1.8 million copies of the magazine every month. And Andy, I was looking for stories. I was looking for people that really understood how to tell a story that captured our attention, and then we'd put it in the magazine, let people read it. So there's editors looking for those personal experience stories. All of us have personal experiences that we could write up and put in a magazine article. That's one of the best kind of magazine articles that anybody can write.
Yeah, I love that. Wonderful. What is your favorite style of writing, Terry? Your favorite genre of writing?
Oh, I don't know that I have a favorite.
Ah,
I've done all kinds of things, anything from children's books to devotionals to co-authored books with other people. There's just a lot of stories out there that Andy, that I feel need to be told, and I'm happy to help in that process in any way that I can.
yeah. And who would you consider as probably your favorite author or your mentoring author in terms of your style? You may have copied somewhere along the way, or they may have inspired you in terms of how you decided to write.
Oh, that's kind of a hard question. I've actually had the opportunity to interview more than 150 best-selling authors over the years. So I've sat with these people and talked to them about how they practice their craft. Jerry B. Jenkins is a long-term friend of mine. He's been on the New York Times list over 21 times. I think he's writing over 200 books now that he's written. But one of his books, Left Behind, has sold over 60 million copies. But Jerry's got this amazing ability to tell stories that grip people, and he's still, he's still at it, still doing it, and so he would be probably one that comes to mind as a mentor of mine.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Terry. We appreciate that. What's the difference between writing for publication, writing for magazine, or script writing, let's say for a television production or movie? How do these differ?
Well, I haven't done a lot of TV, movie script writing, but I've done some radio work, and each of these have their own kind of format and system of what they expect. So just use Google, use YouTube, try to figure out what the format is that they expect, and then send them what they need at the end of the day. I mean, with all the streaming and movie things that are going out there in television and movie, there's great opportunity there, which wasn't there a few years ago, but it's there now to have those opportunities. So I just encourage you to gravitate whatever it is that you want to, but realize that uh, you've only got one chance to make a good first impression when you send your material to somebody. So really polish it up and make sure that that's the right stuff that you're sending off to that person that you're reaching out to.
Yeah. So fundamentally, Terry, how long does the proper editing process takes place in terms of you being able to go through the stuff and come to the final conclusion that okay, it's now ready, it's time to go out, let's hit the print, let's put it out there? How long does that entire process actually take?
There's not just a standard. It's different. It's different for every book and
Ah,
every
yeah,
author and
yeah,
every
yeah,
process.
yeah,
But
yeah,
in general, in the traditional world, it usually takes 18 to 24 months before once they contract a book before it actually comes out. So it's a long process in that. At Morgan James, we're a little quicker. You can have books from us in about 3 months, and we get them in the bookstores in about 9 months. We're selling our books into 98% of the bookstores in North America, including the brick and mortar stores. We've been doing this for about 20 years, sold 25 million books. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening on the
yeah.
New York publishing side at Morgan James that I'm involved in to a degree. I'm one of the people that find these books that we publish.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Terry. So while all of that is happening, what is the author supposed to do in terms of how can he or she help with the actual promotion? Is there anything that they should be doing in terms of reaching out to their social media list, their email list, or the people that they know, stuff like that?
Yeah, all those things, and that's part of why I'm active on social media. I post, 12, 15 times a day. I developed a system though, so I don't spend hours and hours of my
Yeah,
time over there. But
yeah, yeah,
I have a system. I have an email list. Pre-sales are important for books, so we encourage our authors to encourage their audience rather to pre-order the book, because those pre-sales really matter. I mean, we figured out at Morgan James, for example, because we know the leaders of those key accounts. The key account of Barnes and Nobles, for example, has told us that if we can get our authors to gather, get their connections to pre-order 300 copies of their book, then that's the tipping point number. And all of a sudden, the national rep goes, "Oh, I should carry that book in every bookstore in the country." And so that's a good goal for you as an author during that time, to be sending people over to barnesandnobles.com to pre-order your book, because if you get 300 of those, your book's going to be everywhere. It's going to be in all those bookstores, which would be great.
yeah. I did some work recently with Christina Lakiani and also with Phoebe Trotman. Um, they are authors and entrepreneurs, and one of the things that they asked me to do was to create the opportunity for my audience to get attuned and accustomed with their books before it was actually put out, and all the pre-ordering processes went in some ways through some of my platforms because I had a window to the souls of some people that might have been interested in their publication. So that is also a tool that I am aware of that has been used. So thank you so much for sharing, Terry. We have a like, a thumbs up for you. Somebody in the audience sent that for whatever reason.
Fantastic.
So we just have about 1 minute to go, and I would ask you to say some parting words, words of wisdom, words of experience, knowledge, advice in your genre, in your core competencies that would help people to remember some of the wonderful stuff that you have already shared with regards to publishing.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. I really want people to get a copy of this 10 Publishing Myths book. And one of the ways they can do that is if they go to publishingoffer.com. That'll take you to a website where they can get this book for only $10. And that includes the shipping along with over $200 of free bonuses at publishingoffer.com. But my encouraging word, I guess, Andy, at the end of the day, to tell authors, we get rejected a lot as an author. I mean, we hear the word no all the time when we pitch it out there.
Yeah.
But I've been in some of the top literary agencies and editors in New York City. And when I meet with these people, what they're asking me is, okay, Terry, where's the next bestseller? Where's the next book that's going to be on the bestseller list? Where's the next Joel Osteen? Where's the next Rick Warren, Purpose Driven Life? Where's the next Left Behind book? And what I learned from that is that these guys may be saying no to you. They may be saying their list is full. They may be saying that they can't take you on, all those kinds of things. But know that they're reading. They're reading. They're looking for that diamond in the rough. All of us are. And so if we can help you in that process, don't hesitate to reach out to us to see if we can help you.
Wonderful. Thank you. You have been an engaging and informative guest, Terry Whalin. We thank you so much for being with us. And folks, remember, the important aspect of this program is to ensure that we read for enlightenment, for purpose, for wisdom, for knowledge, and for understanding. Key factors to us having a better life in terms of the quality of life that we live. And our guest has just added some nuggets to that process. So we thank him so much. So there's this information there with regards to his social media platforms and all the other stuff that he has shared with us with regards to how we can get in contact with him. And also the book, The 10 Myths of Publishing. So we thank you so much, Terry. And we thank all those who have made this possible and your support from the audience as you continue to go forward. Remember to read for enlightenment, read for purpose, and for understanding. Until next time, we say so long, Godspeed, God bless. Bye for now. All the best, guys.
Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.